Uh, I'm going to turn on the AC because it's pretty damn hot right now. But I just got out of the movies. I just went to go see Supergirl. I saw it at the AMC here in Orange Park, and wearing my Kryptonian Hope shirt, Superman logo shirt, or I guess Supergirl in this case. I went to the 10 o'clock screening for this. It was the IMAX, again, here in Orange Park. And so I know a lot of people have been leaving mixed reactions and reviews to this movie. So here is what my thoughts on the film are. And I'm pretty sure a lot of what I'm going to say overlaps with what a lot of other people might have already said. And right off the bat, I will tell you this. I did not hate this movie. In fact, there's a quote in this movie that I think best sums it up. And it's not always perfect, but it's good. And that is my outlook on this movie. It is not perfect. Because there are quite a number of problems with it, but it doesn't take away from what I enjoyed from the movie. Now, I did see the actual comic this movie was based off of. I did read it. I have it. Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow, and it is a true grit sort of story about a girl who named Ruthie, who kind of tries to recruit Supergirl to help avenge her parents after they were murdered by a guy named Krim, and who looks nothing like he did in the comic, but I think that's a good thing, because otherwise he would just look like a normal everyday dude with like an orange beard and like no shirt on. So as far as the plot goes, it stays pretty accurate to the comic. There were some deviations, like a lot of the more character building moments. I feel like if this movie were had a longer runtime, we would have gotten some of those more character defining moments. But then again, the other plot of this movie is about Krypto being poisoned, which if you're a dog lover like I am, that's warrant enough for seeking anyone out who hurts a dog, let alone your own dog. And you get to see what Krypto means to Supergirl. That he has just been there with her all this time, ever since her mother had died. And I'm surprised this isn't a Disney movie after saying that out loud. I actually thought that during the theater. I was like, does Kara's mother dying, does this make it a Disney movie now? But there were just a lot of character moments that we didn't get from the comics in this movie, but that's understandable, because like I said, there's that time crunch with Krypto. Supergirl, Kara has 3 days to save him and get the antidote that conveniently has to be on Krim's person at all times. And on top of that, it's just like a lot of stories going on. We get Supergirl's backstory and some really good flashback moments, in my opinion. I think the flashbacks were very well done, but it does bring sometimes the pacing of the film to a halt. I'll tell you what did flashbacks really well, in my opinion: Man of Steel. Man of Steel really did the flashback scenes to Clark's past very well. And I think if done a little better, we would have, I think Supergirl could have maybe balanced those aspects out of the film a little bit more and not made it so jarring, because it's like it'll almost take you out of the moment of the movie when they do these flashbacks. But there's one flashback towards the end of the film that I thought really was well done, well edited. You see like Crypto jumping on her and she immediately wakes up, and I was like, okay, that was very well done. I guess this is kind of a spoiler review, but I'm just going to get the negatives out of the way. So again, the plot is all over the place. I'm not going to hide it. It's just pick something and focus on it. Her interactions and her relationship to Ruthie, this girl who he killed her whole family because of the stupidest fucking reason. But they don't really have that much of a connection in the long run. It just doesn't feel like they're like friends, I guess you could say. It's more like one is tagging along, and I guess that's the idea. But again, in the comic, you get the feeling that they become friends, and it doesn't feel that earned that they call each other friends by the end of the movie. And that's one of the problems I have with this film. That it just a lot of balls that's trying to juggle, but it misses every so often, and it fumbles. I actually have some notes here. Some of the CGI or CG effects, the digital effects, were noticeable, and that also can take you out. But there's only so much practicality you can put into a movie like this, and I'm going to talk about the practical stuff in a bit. And Krim as a character or as a villain wasn't that threatening. It's mostly what he does and the trail of destruction and chaos that this bastard causes along the way that really cements his douchebaggery. Look at me talking like I'm some kind of person or whatever. But I will say this: I did not mind his appearance in the film, because again, I think if they kept him looking accurate and true to the comic, it would have taken a lot more people out of the experience. Because again, Krim of the Yellow Hills in the comic was more or less just like, he looked like an average person with like orange hair, orange beard, mustache, facial hair, whatever, and no shirt on, and he swung around swords. And to see him as a physical threat to Supergirl, someone that we know is really this powerful, it would have taken me out of it, and it would have probably taken other people out to see someone that looks human fighting a Kryptonian. I don't know if Krim is actually human. I don't know. But I'm going to see if I can find a picture of him. Also in the comic, Krim actually just kills the father, whereas in the movie he kills the whole family. again, for the stupidest of reasons. Um, but she goes around and she's like, if you can kill this person for me, then you can have this sword. Here he is, right here. So if you were to see that, and he doesn't even use like in the comic, it wasn't even like a crossbow or anything. It was just like a bow and arrow. And I guess that was topped with poison or something. But again, I don't mind the appearance update because I think that helps sell the him being, one, somewhat looking more menacing, but two, if he looked like a straight up human, I don't think people would have taken him as a threat as seriously, or taken Supergirl's ability or strength as seriously, or would have given her the shorter end of the stick, because it's like, oh my god, you're having trouble fighting this average person. And that's something that I think the movie did interesting, was to give him that appearance. And to be fair, I don't really remember much about him in the comic. Again, it wasn't like he was a returning character to do ha 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 ha, we'll meet again, Supergirl. No, it was more like they were having to follow the trail of destruction this guy was leaving, and we kind of got that. I don't remember if his plan involved the same things we saw in the movie, which I won't talk about here, but if you know, when you see it, you'll be like, that comes out of nowhere. But just to go the evil bastard extra mile in, I guess, in what this guy does. And it's very Mad Maxy, Fury Road. If you've seen Fury Road, then you will likely know what I'm talking about. Anything else that I didn't like? And again, villain and story, those are some big things about this. And that does damage the film to an extent, and how much I enjoyed it. But also the things that they take out of the comic, some of them I miss. I miss having that more connection between Ruthie and Kara. Them getting to know each other, and Ruthie seeing the type of person Kara is as Supergirl. I miss seeing that. It's more of a straight up story, and I guess that's part of the rewrites that this movie went through. I don't think David Cornsweet needed to be in this movie, but I think a lot of test audiences wanted him to be in it. So he's in the movie, and some of the flashback where he meets her, it kind of took me out of it. That was another moment. Most of the flashbacks were good, but they were very jarring. So that's another thing I didn't like. Just like how they were implemented, these flashbacks. But on to the things I do like. And I think this is where it balances things out quite a bit to making it more enjoyable. I thought, the action. Let me start with the action. Supergirl loses her powers a lot in this movie. Like, she'll be on this planet and it'll have a red sun. She can't use her powers. She gets hit with a kryptonite arrow. She can't use her powers. She's somewhere else. She cannot use her powers. And we don't really get to see her use that much of her powers. But when she does, that's when the fun really starts to begin, because you get to see like Superman, but this version of him, or I guess you could say Supergirl, is just like, fuck it, I'm going to just beat the shit out of you. And that gets very enjoyable. But again, it's such a pain every time. It's like, what is it? There was this one show, Birdman, from like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon, and he loses his power whenever he's out of the sun. Just like, imagine like the most contrived reason to take a superhero's power away and have them operate without it. That really did get annoying, and it got predictable, but it made the payoff kind of worth it. The final act was very good. The final confrontation was very satisfying, in my opinion. I applauded a few times, because you just kind of see that switch in Kara and just go, and she becomes like that Supergirl. She puts on that costume, she puts this on, and she like beats the hell out of Krim and his underlings, and that was very satisfying. And so the action was hit or miss, but I think the fun parts of it were good. I wish we could see more of it. That we could see more of the action and not just cut away to like off panel, because that's not fun. I want to see people getting their teeth knocked out. I want to see all this action, and because that's what we're here for. But then again, this the comic book, that's not really what it's about. It's more about the relationship between Kara and Ruthie, and as they go on this quest, and I've already spoken about that. Another thing that I loved, Lobo. Jason Momoa, he had his wish fulfilled. He nailed Lobo, and he was so much fun. I could tell he was having a ball with every second he was on screen. This is the role Jason Momoa wanted to play, and you know it. He's gone on the record tons of times saying that this is the role he thought he was going to play in the Zack Snyder DC movies, and only to be Aquaman, and he was fine as Aquaman. But this Lobo is what Jason Momoa was meant for. He said that he owns like every Lobo comic, and he was one of the first people to congratulate James Gunn upon being made head of DC. And it shows his enthusiasm, and you could tell he was just having a ball with this. I wish we could see more of his powers on display, because Lobo was, while a lot of fun, I just wish we could get a little bit more of him, and I believe we might get a spin-off series about him. I would love that a great deal, to see more of him. But he also just commanded this presence. He was goofy, he was silly, but he was a force to be reckoned with. He had no qualms about killing people, and he had this ornery code of honor that I just absolutely loved, and he was just a lot of fun. And finally, let's talk about Millie Alcoff, aka Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl. We've had Supergirl, like the 1984 Supergirl. I can't remember her name. Helen Slater. We've had Melissa Benoist. We had Smallville Supergirl. And now we have Millie Alcoff. I believe, personally speaking, Millie Alcoff is probably my favorite, just because she is more than just a one-note, life is always sunshine and roses, like wide-eyed innocent. She has been through shit, and you see that in her performance. Like, this is probably my favorite live-action Supergirl portrayal, and I believe we're going to see her in the next Superman movie. So that's a plus for me. But as for I just wish the script was better, because there were a lot of moments that I could tell that the story, the movie could do so much more, but it just doesn't go. It's like you're almost over that hill, but it just doesn't clear it from time to time. And this is no fault of the actors. This is no fault of the set. This is just a writing thing. And it shows that there were rewrites for this movie. But, so I can't really hold that against her. Do I want to see more of her as Supergirl? Yes. Do I want to see more of Jason Momoa as Lobo? Obviously. Do I want to see more Krypto? Obviously. I have my own Krypto at home. I have my Teddy at home. And he is my world. And I completely understand Supergirl's motivations in this movie. Because if you have a dog that you love unconditionally and loves you unconditionally back, then you understand exactly how she would feel. We would all go tear across intergalactic pirates or Mad Max rejects for those we love most. And for me, ever since the reason I love Krypto in these movies is because, one, my dog, but I think this movie hit home for me a lot more because back in 2004, my mother had a stroke, and later that year, I had to move out and find my own place to live, and I brought Teddy with me, and I kept saying, home is wherever that dog is, wherever my Teddy is, that he is my home. It doesn't matter how big the house is, or the duplex which I live in, that is home. And there are moments that made me almost tear up because that is something I can relate with. That is something that I deeply related with. And I think that may be why I enjoyed this movie so much, is because it touches on that grief, that loss, and how we cope with it, and who we cope with. And for me, that was my Teddy. That's my dog. And to have someone try and take that from her, I would do the same thing. I would tear across whoever. And I guess for me, that was the most personal aspect of the film. And I wish if we had more of that connection, that we saw more of the relationship between Krypto and Supergirl. It was cute what we saw, but I know that there was probably a lot of stuff that was cut. But what else do I have to say? There's no post-credit scene. But I do know that the next movie is going to feature Brainiac. And that's going to be interesting to see. There are a lot of popcorn buckets at the AMC theater. There was also this Lobo statue that looked really cool. And but $50, that's just... But I don't know if I have anything else to say. Also, another thing I have to praise. There are moments in the movie where I couldn't tell whether something was practical or digital. And a lot of this had to do with the sets or the aliens. And that's one thing I had to praise, was when someone like me, who tends to look for that type of those differences, if you can trick me, or if you can convince someone like me, who's very visual, whether something is practical or computer generated, I think a lot of the costumes and the aliens that we see in the movie are practical, and I have to praise the movie's set designer and the character designer and costume people, that's what I was trying to think of for that. It is just like, this is a beautiful movie. This is a very well shot, well produced. The characters and the costumes look really well done. This is visually a very good movie. The acting is very well done from our main leads, that being, I guess you could say, Supergirl and Lobo. And again, the relatability between Crypto and Supergirl and what that dog means to her is something that I resonate with. It might not resonate with everybody, but it's something that hit home to me. So that's why I give this, why I'm going to say I recommend this movie. Again, if there's a quote from this movie that I feel like it sums up this whole movie, is it's not always perfect, but it's good. And I think that might be the thumbnail. Not always good, but it's perfect. Or not always perfect, but it's good. My bad. I think that's everything. I really did. I had a good time with this. I would give this like a B minus, a low B minus, high C plus. I don't think it's nearly as bad as everybody's saying it is, but I can understand why some people would be like, I'm on the fence of this. I can understand why it's mixed. I won't go as far as to say it's outright bad. It is not bad, because it has some great moments, but it can be a slog to get to those points. I just wish that the movie could just pick something and just stick with it. And I guess that's one of the challenges when you have to adapt comics to movies, especially when it comes to a particular story. Because you have to try and cram, because the source material had a lot of backstory for Supergirl, and unlike Superman, we actually go into her backstory here. But again, I think this was an all-right movie. Not perfect, but it's good. Not always perfect, but it's good. And what do you, dear viewers, think? Are you going to go see this movie? I do recommend this. I will give this my recommendation. Please let me know down below what do you think, and what are your thoughts. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and go out there and don't wait till this comes out on streaming. Go support the movie. Go support the people that make these films and make them possible. Don't wait till you do like an online reaction video for this stuff. But definitely go check this out and have a good day.